Good morning. Well, this past weekend, a member of our church and I had the opportunity to fly down to New Orleans to participate in the memorial service for one of our former members. The memorial service itself was very beautiful. We had a lot of family there, and it was a wonderful remembrance. But what I will always remember from the trip is what followed. The family had arranged for a second line celebration. Those of you who have been to New Orleans may be familiar with this. This is that parade that you will often see where there is a horse-drawn hearse with either a casket or the urn or whatever that is displayed. And then the family will follow, carrying parasols and waving handkerchiefs. And after that, members of the neighborhood, community, or other members who are mourning the dead will follow. So the hearse is considered the first line, the family is part of the first line, and then the community is part of the second line. Hence, that's the name of the celebration. But one of the big parts of it is there is a brass band, and there is a master of ceremonies who is dressed up in Mardi Gras Indian costume. So it is very festive. It is very celebratory. And the band will begin at the funeral home by playing something that's relatively slow, sort of a memorial type of a number. But as the parade begins and as they start moving down the street, the music increasingly has more of a beat, it's more joyful, it becomes a dance, a celebration. And the family begins to prance and dance around, and instead of mourning, suddenly there's a rejoicing. When the parade comes to an end, back at its starting point, the band ends by playing When the Saints Go Marching In, and it is a very joyous moment in time. This particular second line took place in one of the most historic districts of New Orleans, where there are a number of homes that have been there probably since the 1910s, 1920s, 100-year-old homes. Some of them showed that. They were abandoned. They were in terrible shape. They've really never been fixed up since Hurricane Katrina 18 years ago. But there are others sitting right next to them that people are living in that are still in pretty poor condition. But right next to that, there would be other homes that have been completely renovated, restored to what would have been their original mint condition, and they're absolutely beautiful. And then right next to those would be other homes that they had torn down the original, but now they're building a new foundation, a new home on that spot. So we see these generations of the properties that we're passing by along the way. And as the parade passes, it is a tradition in New Orleans that the people in that neighborhood, in that community, will come out. We'll see them looking out windows and waving, or potentially opening their doors and waving. But some even came out, would join the parade for a period of time, come over and express their condolences to the family, give them a hug, dance and celebrate for a block or two, and then go back home. It's an amazing, amazing event. It celebrates this movement from the mourning of death to the celebration of the life that is to come. And you do it in front of people who are anywhere from amused to bemused to confused as to what's going on there. But along the way, people understand this is to recognize something very significant. As we were part of this parade and we're walking through this, I was thinking about King David when he was bringing the ark back to Jerusalem. And there was a celebration, there was a parade. He was dancing and singing and jumping and celebrating to God about what was going on. In fact, he was doing it so much that his wife, Michal, was ashamed of him. She despised him from that point forward because he had made such a fool of himself. And I suppose if people were looking in from the outside and they'd seen the waving of parasols and the dancing and the jumping around on Saturday, they would have thought, boy, those people are making a fool of themselves. But David did it for a purpose. He was bringing the ark of God, the dwelling place of God, back to the city of Jerusalem. It was an important moment in the history of Israel. This week, we were moving the minds, the hearts, the attitudes of the people from one of death to one of celebrating the life that is to come. And in a way, it's a microcosm of life itself. We should recognize that death occurs. But after it occurs, we should recognize that the true joy is we have somewhere to go, somewhere where we will be in the dwelling place of God. Just as that ark was going to Jerusalem, we too are going to the new Jerusalem to dwell with our God forever. And that is a time for great rejoicing. This week, think about the rejoicing that we have in front of us, the great hope, the great anticipation, the great confidence that we will be in the presence of God when our time on earth is ended. Have a great week.